Elder Gary Sue from Mississauga of Credited First Nation. Gary has welcomed, Elder Sue has welcomed Grassy Narrows to Toronto these many years, and he has agreed to be with us today to begin our meeting in a good way. Gary.
Bonjour. Ogajige Higan in Indigenous class. Magazine Dodam. Mississauga and Dow. New Credit Dunji. I'm honored to open this meeting in a good way to bring our minds together so that we can succeed in the things that we hope to accomplish. And sometimes inside of our lives, our accomplishments go way beyond what we expected them to be. So that's a time of rejoicing. And I like to Nakama manner to Shewase to Namkagewin, Wasa Kabinjabam, Gunishki Babigum, Kadeka Zimwadek, we the Bimshanam, we dope Nishnam, Eshipejago, Bakade, Eshipejago, and then down and we call upon the four grandfathers that sit on the four corners of the earth to come and visit with us so that we might have that guidance and that wisdom to bring the things that we want into reality. And that's like a long time ago, about 50 years ago. I came back from my very first roadblock. I was out in BC. It was in Mount Currie, and it was the very first armed roadblock that the government of Canada faced. And it was underneath the different terms. It was something for the environment that had to do with water. And so when I came back, to St. Catharines, where it's called the place where the eagles nest. Then I had seen when I was passing through Kenora about the Minimatis disease. So I don't know. I was hired by the Friendship Center in St. Catharines, and I went and I gave a talk at Brock University about what the devastations were taking place in the Grassy Narrows community. And I got somebody in the audience that yelled out, "You don't even look like the people from Grassy Narrows." He said, "So what are you doing down here?" And I said, I'm down here trying to wake you up so that you can understand what's taking place in your own land and in our country and the devastation that it's causing. And I thought to myself, they really don't want to hear. They really don't want to understand. They really don't want to do anything. And then all of a sudden along comes reconciliation. And they call it reconciliation because they want to play catch up inside of the way that they've been dealing with the Aboriginal people. And so this is one of them. 20 years, a group of people have constantly reminded them and gave them, what are you doing? How long is it going to take you before you wake up and realize what you're doing to our Mother Earth? So with that, I'm going to leave it over to the people that are going to give us their side of the story, and because it comes right from their heart. And sometimes that's the best place to start your journey, is to look at the people that started this whole thing in their own community, so that they can wake up the governments of provincial and federal, because they're all part of the crown, so that we can wake them up and maybe bring back the honor of the crown. Miigwech.
Thank you, Elder Gary, very much for that beautiful opening. My name is Judy Rebick. I'm honored to have been asked to host this wonderful event. I think, I've been an activist more than 50 years now, and I think the Grassy Narrows struggle has inspired me more than almost anything else that I've ever experienced. The determination of the people of Grassy Narrows, their kindness and generosity to everyone who they work with, their steadfastness over so many years, despite so much suffering. And, a few years ago, I went to a Fridays for the Future March. Some of you may remember, it was huge, and schools came. And it was the first time my great niece, who was at the time 12 years old, came with me to a demonstration. And there were many speakers, and one of the speakers was from Grassy Narrows. And afterward, I heard her talking to her friends, and she was saying, and they've been fighting for this for 40 years. That's not fair. The one speech that reached her 12-year-old soul, was the speech from Grassy Narrows and how unfair it was for the suffering. But today we're not here to talk about how unfair it is. We're here to celebrate a great moment. 20 years since the Grassy students set up the blockade, youth set up a blockade to stop logging in on their lands, and have continually maintained that blockade. And we're here to celebrate that. And now we've got 320 people online here, and the people at Grassy who are celebrating to join them. online in their celebration. And I'm so happy to be here. And not only has Grassy inspired those of us who are activists and allies in the battle, but they've inspired everyone, so that today in the Toronto Star, there is a big feature article about this anniversary. I can't even remember the last time there was an article in a mainstream media paper about a struggle, celebrating a struggle like this. So to begin with, I want to share this fabulous video that was made to celebrate this moment. So let's have a look at the video.
For 20 years, Grassy Narrows has blockaded.
Early in December, about 40 First Nation residents blocked logging roads to protect their hunting, trapping, and fishing rights.
Demonstrated.
That's why they're afraid, because they know what they're doing to us is wrong.
Drummed. Marched. Built alliances. We are fighting against industrial logging and mining, racism and colonialism, and we are fighting for Indigenous freedom, land back, and protecting the sources of life. "20 years ago, we began a blockade. We kicked out the world's largest newsprint company, protected 15 million trees from being cut, and kept all industry out of our 7,000 square kilometer territory. We revived our ceremonies and helped build a movement. But Ontario continues to propose industrial logging and mining on our land against our will. We will never back down. We will sing and dance and fight.
As long as the rivers flow and the sweetgrass grows and the sun shines.
On December 2nd, 2022 at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us to celebrate 20 years of the Grassy Narrows blockade and to build our movement for rights and liberation.
Wow, what an inspiring film. I'm brought to tears by that film. I just forgot to show you my t-shirt. There's been so much art done around Grassy. This one, oh, it doesn't have the Grassy Narrows thing anyway. Zooms, limits. And this film, we'll put the link to it on YouTube in the video in your chat, so that everybody can watch it, because it's so moving and beautiful. And that inspiration that I was talking about earlier, we can feel it through the film. But the battle's not over. We know that. And the people of Grassy continue with their brave struggle. Today, if you read the article in the Star, you'll see that all the major logging companies now have committed, after years and years and years, have committed not to process any material, any logs from the Grassy area. And that's a huge victory. But now they have to get the same victory, the same kind of victory from mining companies. And, you know, and promises from the Ford government. We all know how hard that is to get. So the struggle continues, but we're here today to celebrate, and celebrate we will. So we've got now 340 people here on Zoom, but we're also streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on Facebook, on Twitter, and And so there's even more people who are joining us in this celebration. If you have tech problems, just put it in the chat. I see some of you doing that already to tech support and let them know. You can message them on YouTube or Facebook as well. And I'm asking you, and I shouldn't have to ask, but just to say nothing appropriate will be allowed. And if you say something inappropriate or aggressive, that comment will be removed. And if we miss it, let us know through the tech support. Okay, so without further ado, I want to introduce our first speaker, Chief Rudy Turtle, who I'm sure you're all familiar with. Chief Turtle is the elected leader of the Grassy Narrows First Nations. He's a long-serving member of the Grassy Narrows Council and a skilled hunter, fisher, and family man. He enjoys playing hockey in his spare time and often helps out with recreational activities. He is a humble and strong leader who has been tirelessly advocating for the people of Grassy Narrows and all Indigenous people over many, many years. He's played in 2018, Chief Turtle played a key role in enacting the Grassy Narrows Land Declaration, a Grassy Narrows law that bans industrial logging on mining on the territory. Please welcome Chief Turtle.
Bonjour, hello. My name is Rudy Turtle, and I'm the chief of Subsquasigang Chitam Anishinaabeg, Grassy Narrows First Nation. As I speak, I'm on the Grassy Narrows territory, the land that our people have depended on and taken care of for countless generations. The people of Grassy Narrows have decided to protect our land from all industrial logging and mining. Grassy Narrows Chief and Council stand by the will of the people of Grassy Narrows. In 2018, my council and I passed the Grassy Narrows Land Declaration. This is our Indigenous law that designates our territory as an Indigenous protected area and bans industrial logging and mining. I call on the governments of Ontario and Canada to recognize and respect our land declaration. Today is an important day. On this 20th anniversary of the Slant Lake blockade, I honor all the people who have fought to defend Grassy Narrows land from the time of our ancestors to this day. I honor those who are no longer with us. I honor the elders. I honor the land users, the youth. I honor the grassroots of people. I honor the warriors. I honor the mothers and the grandmothers. Thank you for your courage, your perseverance, and your heart. I also recognize our many allies who have traveled beside us in this long fight. The other nations, the environmentalists, the human rights advocates, the labor unions, the migrants, the faith groups, and all the people of good conscience who have amplified our impact and who help sustain our work. Together, we have accomplished so much. We kicked out the world's largest newsprint company. We stopped all industry in our territory for over a decade. But this fight is not yet done. Ontario is still proposing to log on our land and is still giving out new mining claims to this day on the land which we cherish. We will never give up. We will never stop protecting our land. I thank each of you for coming today to honor this important occasion. Please continue to fight with us until we have justice and liberation for all. Miigwech kina kitin nim kino kawich toik, ish nkakwete kabichiwichi ak, kabit chimiga tamankwe, ekukwe kino tamankwe kitakiminank. Miigwech, thank you.
Thank you, Chief Turtle. At this time, we want to take a moment, and this kind of thing is a little difficult on Zoom, but I'd ask you to join with me to take a moment of silence to commemorate the life and spirit of Joanna Assin, who recently passed away. Joanne was a pillar of Grassy Narrows community, a staunch advocate for her people and their way of life and Mercury justice. We're asking all of you just for one moment to join us in a moment of silence as we hold Joanne in our hearts. Thank you all. And now I would like to introduce the MPP Sol Mamakwa. He has been a member of parliament for the Kiwetnung since 2018. He's from Kingfisher Lake First Nation, and he's a fluent Anishinaabe speaker. Sorry, I've had to do this at the last minute and I'm practicing my pronunciations if I got it wrong. He's from Kingfisher Lake Nation and I said that. It is his honor to be here today with Grassy Narrows people to mark this important moment for Indigenous sovereignty and land back. Please welcome Sol Mamakwa.
Miigwech, Minigizaga. It's a good day. It's a good day because to gather here as supporters, as allies, as First Nations people, as rights holders, to celebrate this event. You know, it's a landmark of, you know, the work that has been done by Grassy Narrows. I'd just like to say miigwech for the invite. Thank you. Gary Salt, miigwech for the prayer, the song. Miigwech to the elders that are here. Miigwech to the people of Grassy Narrows, the rights holders, the land rights holders, the street rights holders. If there's any children around where the power is, miigwech, we honor you. And miigwech for the chief and the leadership for inviting me. I think, you know, for years, for decades, you know, colonialism has become a way of life for First Nations people. Oppression has become a way of life for Indigenous people in Canada. I think what marks it here today is the, you know, the 20 years of the resistance that to fight that racism that continues to be enforced through policies, systems. We have to understand that system that is there was never built for First Nations people. It was never built for us. That system is designed the way is working the way it's designed to do it, which is to take away the rights of the people to the lands and the resources. So I say miigwech to Grassy Narrows. I say miigwech to the supporters, helping them assert those rights. I think when we talk about today, what that does is it's teaching us. It's teaching us what, reviving the land means, taking back our ways of life, the things that we do on the land, and honoring the animals that are in those lands, honoring the fish that are, everything that is in there. It's teaching us to stand up. It's teaching us to start rising as people. It's teaching us to rise as nations. It's teaching us to be united as people that care for the land and the rights of Indigenous people. So I say miigwech, and again, I heard about the story from the Star. I shared it this morning. Again, I say miigwech to everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your continued support. And we will continue to fight, even though we should not be fighting. Miigwech.
Thank you, Sol. And moving right along, next we have Robert Williamson. Robert is an elder in Grassy Narrows. During the blockade 20 years ago, Robert served as a strategist and chief builder of structures that were vital to the blockade's success. Welcome, Robert. Taking a minute here. Is Robert there?
So if Robert can hear us, if you can press *69 or oh my gosh, *6 to unmute if you're speaking and it's not coming through.
You're unmuted now.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
we hear you now, Robert. Thank you.
Can
Go
you hear
ahead.
me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, now we don't hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay. Loud and clear?
loud and clear.
Miigwech. Thank you everyone for this opportunity you are giving me to speak to you today. I thank the Great Spirit for everything I have, my health, my loved ones, my friends, and my family. Today marks 20 years of the Grassy Narrows blockade. 20 years of standing our ground to protect the land for our own well-being and for the well-being of future generations, for all humankind. This is one of the greatest accomplishments of Grassy Narrows people. And I'm proud of all of you, the people who stood at the blockade. I'm proud and thankful, especially to the young people and all the elders who supported us and continue to support us as we continue the fight for justice. I thank all the supporters, all of you who are listening today and joining us to celebrate this great day. as a child, living at the old reserve, I saw my parents living off the land when the land was free of poison, free of clear cuts, free of flooding. I remember waking up in the mornings, going outside, listening to everything around me. So peaceful, only the sound of nature, the birds, the loons, the squirrels. I noticed everything. I noticed everything about the land. I remember seeing people across the lake paddling, seeing everybody happy and living so well and living in harmony with the land. This fight we have today is for that again, to see our people, our future generations have that same peace and harmony with nature. And I know if we continue to stand our ground and not allow the multinational corporations to come into our territory ever again, we can have it again. The future generations can have the land back. There's so many things I remember during the blockade. The young people that stood in front of the truck. One in particular stays in my mind is two young people laying across the road and a truck behind, willing to take whatever comes, The young people showed us that something, they showed us that there's no other way. The government will not listen. The government will not feel sorry for anyone. They will continue to go after our land, our trees, our rocks, our water. We have been taught, to respect and protect our land as Anishinaabe people. We are given that responsibility by the Creator to protect the land for everyone, not just for ourselves, but for all people in the world. This is the last, this area is probably one of the last areas that has a good forest because of our stand, our perseverance, our strength. Nothing that money can buy can ever replace the air, the water, soil, the land. That's what will protect our people. We have to keep going. We have to stop the multinational corporations from coming in to our territory. And the young generation, the future generations have to continue to fight. If there are children, young people listening, it is important to keep this fight going. In closing, I want to share something. One of the elders during the blockade did a prayer out there on the land, and she did it in Ojibwe, but I tried to translate it to the best way I could. And I'll share it now. It was quite a while ago, but I tried to write it down as best I could. The prayer goes, Grandfather, Bekainen Mishnam, wait for us. Be patient with us today as we struggle through hard times. Look into our hearts. See our pain, our sickness, our anger and tears. We are victims of violence. We are victims of attack on our own land, victims of assault on our well-being and minds. As children, we were victims of violence by strangers in the name of God. In this Shomish non-Russian, Grandfather, hear me. Grandfather, with this tobacco in my hand, hear me. Make things right for my people, my relatives who live along this great river and forest. Take us to safety and guide our footsteps as we walk to our sanctuary. Guide our thoughts and words as we fight and speak in our native tongue. Make our voices be strong as the mighty thunder. Make our words be true and sharp as lightning. Regrets, Grandfather. Continue to take care of us as you have for generations after generations. Guide us as we continue to stand and protect ourselves, this space you gave us to live. We ask this for the sake of our children, grandchildren, and future generations to come. Regrets. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Robert.
Everyone.
Yes, thank you. I wish that was so moving and powerful. May our voices be heard. May your voice be heard like thunder. Our next speaker is Chrissy Isaacs, who I've known for quite a while. She's a Grassy Narrows mother, grandmother, and land defender. Chrissy was one of the initiators of the Slant Lake blockade in 2002. And as we've said, it's now the longest running logging blockade in Canadian history. Chrissy's also a singer, an artist, a mentor, a community worker, and educator. Welcome, Chrissy.
Bonjour, Anangu, Kapna Nakwan, Dishnakaz, Bishil Tutem. Thank you for having me. First of all, I just want to say, wow, it's been 20 years. And I was actually just reflecting last night, like about, I was thinking about what am I going to talk about? What am I going to share that I haven't shared? And I started to kind of feel anxiety like that. It's been 20 years, you know, since we took the stand for our community. And, you know, back then I was a mother of 2. Now I'm a mother of 3 plus 2 grandchildren. And I remember back then, you know, like in the 90s when we were starting to like take actions and like do rallies, and I only had my son, and I couldn't think about being a grandmother, but I spoke about being a grandmother one day, and that I wanted to be vocal for them so that there would be something here for them. And I started to think about my childhood, like how did we get here, you know, and what has changed, and it made me realize that so much has changed, you know, in from my childhood. um I remember, like, you know, being one of the kids that swim all day long, like from 9 in the morning till 9 in the evening. I was always in the water, and I thought about my dad. He actually really was a big part of my connection to the land by little things that he did. Like, I remember one day I was coming back from swimming, and he called me over to sit quietly with him. And we were just sitting there quiet. And I remember looking at him and saying, "What are you doing?" And then he said, "Look at the trees," he said. And I remember looking at them, and they were swaying back and forth. And he said, "If you listen," he's like, "you can hear a song in the wind," he said, "and the trees are dancing." And I remember that being so, like, feeling so magical, you know, and feeling like a real true, like, connection. And I always kept that with me through my life. Like, and I felt like the land was my place of sanctuary, a place where I ground myself. And um now, you know, now that I'm older, and I still feel that way, you know, I understand what that true connection is. And throughout the years, you know, being a teenager and becoming vocal um, about the logging and the mercury, and I wanted to make sure, you know, that I would teach my kids that way also, and that I would teach my grandkids that way also. And I see the healing, you know, that has been done, you know, from taking these stands. And I see, you know, like, for in my own family unit, you know, we like to go out to the blockade and have dinners there, and a place where, you know, when we're going through hard times, we go out to the land, and that's where we connect. And for me, the fight was always about having my identity, because that was something I felt that was robbed from us. When, you know, the mercury was put into the water, before that, you know, our people were still living off the land. The river was our home, our food. The river was everything to us. And when that mercury went there, like, I see how it robbed us of a way of life. And throughout the years, it helped me understand, you know, the questions that I had at being at 8 years old. Why do we live this way? Why, you know, I always questioned why do other people get to have good water? Why do other people get to have nice homes? Why do other people get this and that? You know, I always questioned that being a child, because in school we're taught, you know, about success, meaning, you know, you have to get your education, meaning you're going to have good health, meaning you're going to stay out of jail, meaning you're going to be this hardworking person, you know, in these office jobs, or you're going to have a vehicle, you're going to have this and that. But then it wasn't real, you know, for us, because I seen a lot of my friends dying of, like, suicide. I've seen a lot of people dying from alcohol abuse. I seen you know, all these things that that I didn't realize until later on in life that it was connected to the land, you know, because we didn't, that was taken away from us, you know, and but then when I see, when we took that stand, there's so many changes that has happened in my own life. You know, I decided that I wanted to make sure that my kids know who they are. So I had that opportunity to be able to learn about our ceremonies, to learn about our way of life. You know, my grandsons, they have a garden now every year, and they love eating partridge, they love fish, you know, and those are things that I'm so grateful for everybody, you know, that stood up and said enough is enough. We're gonna have our land. We want the trees here. We want clean water, and we just want to be Anishinaabe, you know. And so today I'm just so grateful. I was just in tears watching that video, and like it was just so powerful and moving, and I'm just like, wow, you know, our community did that. We did that, and we're still doing it, you know. And my children are also have become vocal. Like my son, when he got into his teen years, he started doing walks for the water, and to create awareness about the mercury poisoning that happened in our community. And then my oldest daughter, when she got into her teen years, you know, she was delivering letters to Weyerhaeuser saying that they weren't welcome in our territory. And it just like, I was so like, wow, you know, this is the mindset of our young people still, you know, that I feel confident, you know, that this fight, that our place will be protected. And I'm just like, I'm so wowed. It's been 20 years. And I just want to say miigwech, you know, to Gary the elder for doing the opening, and miigwech Chief Rudy for standing with your community and your people always, and being one of the powerhouses. And miigwech Sol, and miigwech to my dad for being so inspiring through my whole life, and miigwech to all the people that stood up and that continue to stand up, and for the ones, you know, that left us, for teaching us, you know. I want to acknowledge Chief Simon Fobister and Steve Fobister for standing with us, and for, you know, being one of my greatest teachers in my life on this stand, and teaching us, you know, how to truly love our community. And the fight isn't over, and that will continue to keep going for our children and our grandkids and so on. So miigwech.
Thank you, Chrissy. And yeah, despite all the incredible achievements that we're celebrating today, the fight isn't over. The government's still not listening, probably this government not listening even more. But Grassy Narrows continues to be under threat. So now I want to turn it over to Sheila from Grassy Narrows Solidarity, who's going to lead us to some action. I think we all feel honored and moved to be part of this, to share this celebration, but now it's time to do something to make sure that the struggle that Grassy has inspired us all with will continue to be successful. So Sheila, I'll turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Judy. And it's great to be with everyone here today. it's time for us to take an action together to support Grassy Narrows and their over 2 decades of land defense, because despite all of the success and the amazing victory we get to celebrate today, they're still under threat of industrial logging and mining. So we'll get the slides going in a minute, and we're going to put some links in the chat. We're first going to make a phone call and then make a post on social media to spread the word. So we'll go through each one by one. And our friends at Lead Now have created a really helpful tool so that you can complete your phone call in just 30 seconds, because so many of us here today are going to be making calls. When you fill out the form online, you'll randomly be assigned a phone number, and we will be calling decision makers in Premier Doug Ford's government with a message to withdraw all industrial logging and mining from Grassy Narrows territory, to respect the over 2 decades of land defense of Grassy Narrows, and to withdraw all industrial logging and mining. So you can type out that link that you see on the slide, or it should be in the chat of the platform that you're watching on. And it should just take 30 seconds to make your call. But since offices are open right now, you might talk to someone. Let's go through the script. You will be calling elected officials in the Ontario government about, and you can say in your message what your name is, where you live, and that you're calling about respecting Grassy Narrows First Nation and to demand that they withdraw all mining and industrial logging from their territory. You can mention that people in Grassy Narrows have lived with the terrible effects of mercury poisoning for over 50 years, and mining and industrial logging only risk worsening that crisis. And that's why Grassy Narrows has opposed logging for over 2 decades. They have the right to determine what happens on their land. I stand with Grassy Narrows, and I urge you to do the same. So that's the script that will pop up for you. And so we'll just take a minute or two now to make our calls, and then we'll come back and we will spread the word on social media on the next slide. So just reminding you, you can go to act.leadnow.ca/free-grassy-20, because today is the 20th anniversary of the logging blockade. So let's take a moment now to make our call. I'm going to go make my call too. And if, the screen says, if the link is not working for you for whatever reason, just call Premier Ford. His number is on the slide, and you can use the script you see up there. Still see a couple of people making their calls. I just tried calling the number for Premier Ford, and it was busy. So I think that means we have a lot of calls going through. So let's make sure to use that tool, because what it will do is cycle us through the other decision makers in the provincial Ontario government. So that's amazing. It means that hundreds and hundreds of us are making these calls all at the same minute. So let's try again using the form. You'll get cycled through to another number. You can also come back to this link, but let's give it another 30 seconds so we can all try to make our phone call. So I've also had problem connecting. I think there's so many people calling, but we have seen in the chat that some people got through to the Ministry of Mining. So please, yeah, bookmark that link, act.leadnow.ca/free-grassy-20. And let's put up the next slide on our screen, a social medias app. And those who are still making their calls can finish them up. Oh, someone got through. Estimated wait time 4 minutes. That is fantastic. So if you're on the phone, stay on the line so you can leave your message, but maybe you can use your other hand to send a tweet. For people who've gotten through, you can send a social media message. So not everyone has Twitter. You can also copy this text and post it on a different platform. But again, the idea is that we are sending a message to Premier Ford to respect the Grassy Narrows 20-year blockade and withdraw all industrial logging and mining. So Lead Now, again, has made it super easy for you. You can go to the link in the chat, bit.ly/free-grassy-tweet. And it will, if you're logged in, it will auto-generate a tweet for you. So it's super easy. You can click the link in the chat to do that. Or you can just type this message out yourself, but make sure to tag Premier Doug Ford at Ford Nation with your message. And James is posting that text in the chat for you to use. So we'll take a minute to do that now. And I'm getting some great messages in the chat that someone's left a message with Greg Rickford's office, which is fantastic. Few people are still on hold for Premier Ford's office. This is great. Thanks, everyone. Someone's left a message with the Minister of Northern Affairs. This is all great news. So once you've made your phone call, you can use this text to send your tweet. All right, we've got the text posted again. So as we do that, I just wanted to thank everybody for being here today to celebrate this really momentous anniversary. And we've heard a few times from people that Grassy Narrows will never give up. And so I wanted to invite everyone to just make a personal pledge today that we will continue to fight alongside Grassy Narrows for the next 20 years and beyond, for as long as it takes until Grassy Narrows is free. So I wanted to thank everyone for taking action today and being here. And we're going to share some links in the chat if you'd like to donate to support Grassy Narrows and their work and their land defense. You can do that at the link in the chat, freegrassy.net/please-donate-2021. And I will pass it back over to our moderator.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheila. And, you know, one of the amazing things about Grassy is how well over the years they've worked with allies. And that's why we're all here. There's still 356 of us on the Zoom call, and that doesn't count all the people on Facebook and YouTube and the other. So over the years, so many of us have worked with Grassy, and for me, the person who's been most inspired me in this work over those years is Judy DeSilva. She is the bravest, most courageous, most generous person I've ever known. And I'm so honored to share the screen with her and to hear from her. Judy is a Grassy Narrows mother to 5 children. Her children have helped her to have the positive energy, she says, to look for justice and a solution to the mercury poisoning for their system. And she's fought these many years with such inspiring so many of us. So please welcome in your hearts, Judy DeSilva. Are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Hi, how are you?
Good.
And someone says, and Judy's very funny as well.
Can you see me?
I can see a photo of you. I don't see it. Have you got your video on?
Yeah, it was on, but then it disappeared. But it's okay. I'll just start talking.
Oh, no, we got you now. We got you now. We can see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bonjour, everybody. I'm just very emotional right now because hearing all the speakers and them saying all those powerful things and remembering all the people that fought with us and helped us with this blockade against a huge industry as the forestry. We're still not safe, and 20 years seems like a long time, but as my kids were driving home yesterday from Kenora, they're talking about how time is so short, and I'm remembering the people that have passed on and that helped us be here where we are today. I want to acknowledge my brother, Robert Williamson, and all the stuff that my sisters have done too, Roberta Kiesek and Barbara Fobister. They stood on the front lines and in the freezing cold, and the young people that showed up. And so 20 years ago, there's like a 17-year-old, I want to mention Ashley Lone. She's in that photo where she's standing in front of a logging truck. And just the strength of our people, and her being 17 then, and now she's 37 and she's a mother. And so I count on them, like for the fight that's in front of us. And I know the industry is just hungering to get at those saplings that were there 20 years ago, and now they're growing 20 years later, and they want that. So it may seem like, like it's over, or that we're winning in many different front lines. But at the same time, industry is very powerful. Like, we're a small number of people. We're like 1,600 people in Grassy, 800 that live in the community. And we're doing like a health study. It's called the Neben study with Dr. Donna Mergler, a world-renowned mercury expert. And we're doing, like, we continue doing the work on the ground every day for mercury justice for our people. And so the biggest industry that has attacked our people was the logging industry, but we face mining because they hunger for that. What's in the rocks? It could be gold, it could be uranium, or titanium for cell phones. And I think close by here, they found one of the biggest veins in the world for cell phones. So like, the fight goes on to protect our land and our water. And the next big fight we also have is nuclear waste disposal in our territory. And this nuclear waste comes from Southern Ontario, and it's going to be coming towards our low populated areas in Northwestern Ontario. So we're fighting that now. And if that nuclear waste gets buried in our watersheds, it will effectively poison the Wabigoon River again for thousands of years. And this nuclear waste will go all the way to Hudson's Bay. And there's another watershed, it's called the Turtle River watershed that'll go south into the States. So it goes on and on, you know, like the things we have to fight all the time. And I want to acknowledge the advocates, you know, the people out there that listen to us and that believe in us. You know, thank you for your support, because without you, we wouldn't be where we are now, because we're a small, I always say we're a small mosquito, you know, on the back of the government that allows these permits to go through. And without your help to amplify our voices, we wouldn't be where we are now. And with this Zoom link, like, it's allowing us to connect to you on a very personal level. And I say miigwech to all of you. And I want to say miigwech to the Grassy Narrows community people for always protecting the land and the water, even in the face of poverty, even in the face of mercury, being poisoned by mercury, and all the social injustices we face in all levels, like even an economic level where the people still live in poverty while these industries thrive off of our backs. And also the thing we also need to think about is decriminalizing land defenders across Turtle Island, people that are protecting water. And they are very attacked when they're protecting the land and water for everybody. So stand with them, you know, when your Christmas is going to be coming up, you know, tell your little children, your relatives, to stand with the land defenders, because someday those little children are going to become lawyers and senators or professors, people that can make changes for us in the Schnabek. So the fight continues. And miigwech to all the speakers, miigwech Judy Rebick for moderating this event. And 20 years. Oh my God. So let's have another 20 years of fighting. Miigwech.
Miigwech, Judy. Thank you so much. And you've been so much there for all of us all these years. So thank you very much, Miigwech. Beautiful speech, as always. And thank all of you for coming and staying too, all this time. We still have 354 people here. And it you know, I've done a lot of these meetings, and I know you sort of lose people after a while, and we've lost almost no one because it's been such a moving and powerful celebration. So thank you all for staying here. And please remember, someone asked about donation. They're in the chat. There's a link for donations to Grassy Narrows. Sign up for the Grassy Narrows. I'm assured it's a low traffic newsletter, especially after yesterday, Giving Tuesday. I know you don't want more email, but you want the email from Grassy, and that's freegrassy.net. I see my whoever's doing the chat is really staying on top of those things. And follow Grassy on social media, at Grassy on Twitter, at Free Grassy on Twitter. On Instagram, it's at grassy.narrows.solidarity, and on Facebook at Grassy Narrows Solidarity, to keep up with what's happening. And thank you all for your support and for your participation. Thank you to all the speakers who have just spoken so powerfully from their hearts, and touched all of us. And to end, I want to pass it back over to Elder Gary for a closing prayer. Unmute yourself. You're muted. Yeah. It's the microphone at the bottom left. Just, yeah, I think you clicked on the video instead of the mute sign, Gary. Not sure what's happening here.
We go.
Yeah, I got you now. Okay, we can hear you now. We can't see you, but we can hear.
It takes time.
Yeah.
I'm old like you, 77.
Same age. Go ahead.
Chimigwich. Nunakama manitu shewase tu. Namkagewin. Wasa kadinjaba. We give thanks to you, and we have good thoughts for all of you, and we've sent them out to all of the world when we push this, and not to just anybody. It's to the people that care, and that's where I can give hope. I do a lot of working with the environmental people. And this last couple of weeks ago, I did an opening for the David Suzuki Society. And on there was all of the environmentalists all the way across Canada who are putting their minds and their lawyers together to help the Aboriginal people of Canada to be able to flex their muscles and bring the governments of here in Canada under restraint, because they have laws too. And all that has to be done is the power of the people. And it's not only the Aboriginal people who are moving towards these restraints. We're not alone. I had the Japanese people that had their interment, and they joined their forces. That if we need the strength of their people to help us bring the government to recognizing and understanding that we have rights, and even though we're minority people, that we have strengths. And the strengths is in with our prayers and our thoughts that we can all take advantage of. So let's give those prayers out to the Creator, that I don't want it to see it last 20 years. I'll be 97 and I'll probably won't be able to walk around. So, miigwech. And this is a little song I like. It's a song, it's a journey song as you go along the river and listen to the sounds of the trees as they blow the winds through. We are here, way high, way up, way high, way up, way high, way up, way I only sang it twice. I leave it up to the rest of the people to sing the song inside their hearts and continue the journey that we're all on to free Grassy. Anyway.
Thank you so much, Elder Gary, and thank all of you. Someone said Grassy Narrows forever. And I think that's a good way to end. So thank you. Thank you all.